without resistance. But believe it or not, due to his age being below 14, which falls below Serbia's age of criminal responsibility, Costa couldn't face legal charges and was simply placed under the care of a psychiatric hospital located in Belgrade. The Ministry of Internal Affairs later disclosed that Costa had been planning the event for a month, carefully choosing which classrooms to target first and creating a list of students to prioritize in the shooting. It was also revealed that his father is a respected radiologist, and even though Costa never went to court, both parents were arrested and charged shortly after the shooting. The prosecutors allege that the father bears responsibility for his son's familiarity with firearms. He's accused of taking his underage son to a shooting range, a decision deemed highly inappropriate for someone of his son's age, and failing to secure the weapons properly in a locker. Currently, the father is under investigation for potentially committing serious offenses against public safety. On the other hand, Costa's mother faces charges of criminal child neglect. In her defense, she stated that she noticed nothing unusual in her son's behavior on the morning of the tragedy, aside from a certain lethargy at breakfast and while preparing for the day. She recounted that after dropping her daughter off at school, she left Costa at home to get ready. About an hour later, she was shocked to receive the news of the shooting at the school. Initially, she contacted authorities under the impression that her son was a victim. It was only upon arriving at the school that she was confronted with the harrowing reality. Her son had taken the lives of 10 individuals. July 18, 2023, Costa was questioned in the case against his father, which was related to acts against public safety. He admitted that his father taught him how to shoot, load the gun, and change cartridges. He also said that his father admired how he shoots accurately. Costa also revealed that his interest in the tactical shooter game Valorant played a role in shaping his thoughts, further influenced by a documentary that referenced mass murder. He finished his testimony by saying that he had changed his mind and regretted committing the shooting, and if he could turn back time, he wouldn't do it again. I'm sure the families of the victims wish they could turn back time as well, but unfortunately, that's not possible. Mitchell Johnson and Andrew Golden. March 24, 1998. After several months of planning, two young boys aged 13 and 11 unleashed a deadly rampage at their middle school in Arkansas. They killed 5 people and injured 10 more before the police captured them. Now you might think that they were close friends, but that's not the case. Mitchell and Andrew barely knew each other, except for riding the same bus to and from school. They were in different grades, with Johnson in 7th and Golden in 6th, and they had different personalities, backgrounds, and interests. But they did share one thing: a dark and violent side that they had kept hidden from most people. Now, Johnson had a troubled family life, having a strained relationship with his father. He was known to be a bully at school and talked a lot about wanting to join the Bloods. He also had a history of disciplinary problems and was even charged with molesting a girl. What's more, he would often express anger and resentment toward others and hinted that he was planning something big and bad. Golden, on the other hand, seemed to be a model student and a good kid. He was polite, cheerful, and well-liked by adults. He was really close to his family and enjoyed shooting guns with them, and had won several awards for his marksmanship skills. But behind all that innocence, Golden had a cruel and sadistic streak. He liked to shoot animals with his BB gun and showed no remorse as he did it. But as the day of the massacre approached, the boys bonded over their twisted plan to unleash chaos. They stole 9 weapons and 2,000 rounds of ammo from Golden's grandfather and loaded them in Johnson's mother's van, along with camping supplies and snacks. They pretended to miss their bus on the morning of the attack and drove to Westside Middle School, near Jonesboro, Arkansas. They parked the van in the woods behind the school and waited for the right moment. Golden pulled the fire alarm at 12:30 p.m. and ran back to join Johnson. As students and teachers came out of the building, the boys opened fire from the woods. They shot at random, aiming for the head and chest. They even shouted, "It's all fake," to confuse their victims. The shooting lasted for about 10 minutes, until the boys ran out of ammunition. Then they tried to escape with the van, but were stopped by police who had arrived on scene. They showed no remorse for what they had done, and on that fateful day they had killed 4 students and 1 teacher, Shannon Wright, who was also fatally shot as she bravely shielded a 6th grader from the gunfire, saving the student's life. They also wounded 10 others. Now, despite the gravity of what they had done, the boys were too young to be tried as adults, so they faced a juvie court. There, they were found guilty of 5 counts of murder and 10 counts of assault. By August 1998, they were sentenced to confinement until they reached the age of 21, which was the max sentence available under Arkansas law. The prosecutor stated that he would have sought the death penalty if they were older. Johnson and Golden spent their teen years behind bars, but their troubles were far from over. August 11, 2005. Johnson was released from the institution when he was 21, and despite spending most of his youth behind bars, he still hadn't learned his lesson. This guy was still drawn to guns and drugs. January 1st, 2007, he was arrested yet again in Fayetteville, Arkansas. He had some marijuana and a loaded gun in his car, and for that, he was given 4 more years in prison. Now, during his sentencing, the judge expressed dismay that Johnson hadn't taken advantage of the chance to reform. He told him,
"No matter your sentence, you still have a life. Those killed in 1998 do not."
But again, Johnson's troubles were far from over. Now, while he was in prison, the authorities discovered more crimes that he had committed while he was free. October 7th, 2008, he admitted to stealing someone's credit card and having more marijuana. He was given another 12 years behind bars. A few months later, he was charged with another theft and identity fraud for using a stolen card at a Burger King. This added 6 more years to the sentence. July 2015, Johnson was finally released under the supervision of the Federal Probation Office in Texas and was enrolled in a drug rehabilitation program. Now, what about his partner in crime? May 25, 2007, Andrew Golden was released after having spent 9 years in prison. He would change his name to Drew Douglas Grant and move to Missouri. There, he tried to keep a low profile, but wasn't able to hide his identity for long. 2008, he applied for a concealed weapons permit in Arkansas under his new name. As expected, his application was denied by the Arkansas State Police, who noted that he had lied on his application about his previous residences and declared it was illegal for Golden to own or possess a firearm. After that, Golden stayed out of public eye for the next decade until his death. July 27, 2019. Golden was driving on a highway in Arkansas when he crossed the center line and crashed into another car. He died at the scene along with the other driver, marking a fatal end to a troubled life. Michael Hernandez. When Hernandez was just 14, he became obsessed with serial killers. Instead of spending his life playing video games and hanging out with his friends like a typical teenager, this guy was glued to a screen, researching gruesome crimes of some of the world's most evil people. His fascination with these killers would take an even more twisted turn when he decided he wanted to follow in their footsteps.
You talk about serial killers?
Yes, sir.
You talk about violence?
Yes, sir.
Thankfully, Hernandez was stopped before he could become a serial killer. However, he did tragically take the life of one person of Southwold Middle School in Palmetto Bay, Florida, where he was a student. February 3rd, 2004. Hernandez set out to begin his journey to becoming that serial killer. He armed himself with a knife, gloves, and an oversized jacket before heading to school that morning, intending for this murder to be the first of many. Hernandez had chosen his victim, Andre Martin, but his plans were thwarted when Martin declined his invitation to go to the boys' bathroom. Martin later told detectives that he had a gut feeling something was off when he asked him to go into the bathroom. Determined to carry out his deadly plan, Hernandez approached his friend Jamie Go with the same invitation to go into that said bathroom. Sadly, Go, trusting his friend, accepted the offer and followed Hernandez in there. This kid never suspected that his friend would harm him, but tragically, his trusting nature led to his untimely death. Once inside the bathroom, the boys walked into the wheelchair-accessible stall. Hernandez told his friend to turn around and then attacked from the back, stabbing him a total of 42 times. After that brutal stabbing, Hernandez then would slit his throat. So now Michael casually just stashed the knife in his backpack, tossed the gloves beside it, and headed off to class like it was just another day. But a sharp-eyed teacher noticed his hands were stained with blood. Right around the same time, another student found the body of Jamie Go. They had entered the bathroom and saw him slumped over the stall, covered in blood. The staff wasted no time calling the cops, who arrested Hernandez not long after. They found the knife in his backpack when they brought him in, and when they searched his house, they stumbled upon his journal, complete with a chilling kill list. Turns out Hernandez had this whole plan laid out about everybody he wanted to kill, including his own sister. He had his tactics all figured out, and in this other entry, he had a shop